Whoa, look at this. You're looking at more than 7,000 watts of solar. Because right now I'm on board Indigo Lady, a 2002 Voyage 440, originally a sailing charter catamaran, but in 2016 through 2017, Dave, one of the owners here, a retired engineer, chemist, physicist, teacher, and electric guitar builder, made this boat sun-powered. We're gonna go through this boat from the bow, through the stern, inside, down below, and of course, we're gonna check out the battery banks and what makes this electric catamaran go. And I gotta tell you guys, this for me is a real treat. This is my dream right here, to build my own electric catamaran one day. I love sailing, but it has its restrictions, and to be honest, I think this is the way of the future. The technology is just barely there, but it still is difficult. In the next 10 years, I think you will see so many more of these, and these will be the pioneers. As well, I have to tell you, there is no other electric cruising boats that I ever see internationally. You might see one near Miami or Fort Lauderdale, but no further distance. And there are so few that are privately owned just by a normal couple that are sailing the 7 seas, but they're not using sails. They're just using all this electricity. This is gonna be so cool. Be sure to stay tuned after the tour when I sit down with Dave and Lisa for an in-depth interview about the specs, capability, and work that goes into making this dream boat a reality, including how much all of this costs. As well, next week I'll publish a complete video on how this DIY catamaran works, giving you a complete and detailed explanation on how and why this entire setup functions. All right, starting out from the very front, we actually gotta look forward even more to the ground tackle. This is all held in place by a 33 kilogram rock nut with 400 feet of 3/8 inch chain. That's more than 600 pounds of ground tackle. Coming on back from that, you notice everything really is as if this boat was gonna be for sailing, because it was. We're gonna find out later how exactly they took off the sailing equipment that was on here, but this is effectively what it would look like if you're gonna be sailing. You would normally have this arch that comes up right here, that's what they remove, and that would then be held in place over here, just giving you more support up the front to do really whatever with. It's gonna be coming back up for your forestay. It's just you wanna give it as much support as possible, kind of like a suspension bridge, you could think of it as. Now, of course, you've got your little bow chairs up here so you can be enjoying the waves. We've got the trampolines right here. They went with a webbing style, which doesn't give it a whole lot of cushion, but I gotta tell you, it's really comfortable now that I'm laying down. This might be hard to get back up, folks. Only thing I don't like about it is this noise. It does make a lot of noise, but I have no doubt this is much easier to repair inevitably when these things do break down. It's just one line that's going in between all these, and these are actually sail tracks, almost identical to what I used to have on my old mainsail. Also coming back through here, we've got where the 3/8 inch chain comes through. This is how they mark it, no doubt, going to that bridle. This is gonna go through these 2 rollers to keep it perfectly in line, through this tube, and then right up here is gonna be our electric windlass and the chain and the anchor locker. Let's take a look at that real quick. Look at that thing. Yeah, you definitely wanna have a good size electric windlass so you can pull all this in. You do not wanna be doing this by hand. This looks to be as well their fuel tank up here if I had to guess. And we've got some of their fuel filters as well. Now, catamarans are cool in that they can store a lot of their essential stuff right up here in the front. It makes a really good use of the space. Let's take a look as well at what we got next to me here. Oh yeah, look at all of that. Tons and tons of space. Now this fuel would normally be for the motors on board, but they don't have any, diesel powered motors. It's all gonna be electric motors, but they do have a diesel generator on the boat, just in case they need to make more, or if they want a motor through the night, they run the generator, which then powers the electric motor. Now that is inefficient, yes, but it's nice to have that capability there. Or if something goes wrong with your solar arrays, you wanna have a backup, or with your batteries, you wanna have a backup. Backups are essential. I certainly dream of the day where there's no petrol, no liquid explosive dinosaur on the boat at all, but we're not quite there yet, and this is certainly the first step in that process towards it. I really like that these are just on these little hydraulics here, so it holds them up. That's really nice. And again, just the ease of access, whatever you need to do here. You're gonna have one person right back there running the helm, running the motors, the other person right up here letting it out, I'm sure. Curious to find out if they can do all this from back there, but a lot of these are set up so you have one person come forward. Not really a huge deal. I like that it goes through this tube so you don't see it and it doesn't get in any of the way up here. Now, there is pros and cons to having catamarans that have the trampoline versus having a hard top going completely across. The biggest pro to having the trampolines is lightweight. There's nothing in the world lighter than this webbing that you could possibly do. The hardtop is cool, however, because then you could be doing, you know, yoga. You could be doing other things that require a big flat surface, but there's a lot of places for that anyway. And you'll also notice right now that I'm under the shade because solar panels are like the world's biggest shade possible. And this space right here is just so nice to relax and hang out, get a nice little view going this way, watch the sunset, watch the sun rise, get ready for those batteries to charge. Super cool. Definitely well made. And this whole entire solar panel array for sure is what we'll be spending a lot of time talking about. But let's keep going with what's on the deck here. Something else I'm noticing up here is this. It's a big chain plate coming up here. This would be to help support the mast and possibly, but I doubt it, but possibly if you want to have an inner, I guess that'd be a staysail, but an inner head sail coming out, but most likely just to be supporting your mast coming up forward here. So we've got these two hatches out here. I know this is for the forward bedroom and this is for the other forward bedroom. So I'm curious where this hatch goes. This might just be a big storage hatch. Let's take a look. You have these sort of things here so you can pop it open. Oh, wow. Yeah. Tons and tons of storage. I was wondering, because they keep the boat very minimalistic looking, but you've got to store a lot of stuff on board. So this is going to go all the way down, no doubt, up into there. And I bet you back in the day, these were probably sea berths for the captain and the stewardess on the boat. Not exactly a pleasant place to be staying, but when you're trying to make money, being able to have 4, you know, 2-person bedroom guests on the boat makes you a lot more money. Take a look at this one and see if this one has a little more space on it, possibly. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, not a lot of space at all. I mean, really not a lot down in there. Let's take a quick look. I like that he built this this trolling rod setup, and it goes all the way into there. That's so cool. But yeah, for sure you could have a bedroom in there. I don't know that they would. Again, that's pretty tight, so I'm curious to talk with the owners about it, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this boat was back in 2002, maybe. Definitely not where I'd want to be sleeping though, but nevertheless, this is excellent storage space for whatever you've got. For me, I like to go kiteboarding and spearfishing, and I'd probably have one be spearfishing and one be kiteboarding. Be a great way to do it. Before we go too far back, I do want to start talking a little bit about this this structure as a whole here. I'm going to call this the Super Bimini. There's no other word for it. Before we go too much further back, you'll notice it's got this right here. This is kind of interesting the way they did it, having this extra piece that comes up. And they've also got some 2x4s here, or well, more than a 2x4, but some wood. And then you notice I've got this. This is a self-stepping or a steppable mast. So this boat actually can sail, because one time they ran into a problem where the batteries went down or the engine went down and they were not able to have any propulsion, but they could have sailed. Thank you, US Coast Guard, we always appreciate you. But so they have this here and they do keep a sail on the boat to at least be able to go somewhat downwind in a few different directions. That at least gives you a few little options there. Now this whole thing underneath is one large foam fiberglass panel. This entire thing is. So you can stand on this. It has quite a bit of structure to it. And then you'll see all the different solar panels here. Oh my gosh. We're gonna get a full story on them later. I don't wanna speak on them now because I'm just not as knowledgeable as the owners are, but it is pretty cool. Then up here, we've got this Davis weather instrument up there. I've actually wanted to get one of these before, but just couldn't find the space on my boat. And I see that this runs down below, right inside. So they have all the accurate weather information right down there. They've got a radar right there, their VHF antenna going up. I believe that might be a single sideband over there even. So they get quite a bit of space up here. Let's take a look at what this looks like from the top though. I wanna see what this looks like from on high. This is so cool, I really like this. Just these 3 little fins right here give my feet all the traction that I need. I mean, it feels really solid, really easy. And then boom, you've got your next handhold here. And look at that, a ton, an absolute ton of sand has been put into that to give you really, really good grit. So much so I'm able to do this with one hand while I'm holding the camera. Boom, and we're up here. Wow, look at this. This is cool. And then again, now we've got the walkway, walking on up. This is how to do it. Yeah, this is so cool. All right, so from up here, we can really see things. It looks like if they really wanted to, they could have put even more solar on here. I'm curious to talk with them about that. Is potentially adding more solar an option? Is sticking some of them out a little bit off on the sides an option? I'd be very curious to see their thoughts on that and what they think could and would work, because solar panels do only last for so long. Now already I can take a look at these. I can tell you guys these are monocrystalline solar panels. They're more expensive, but they can capture more electricity. The other type you would see are polycrystalline solar panels. Usually you don't see those out on the ocean because those are better if you have unlimited space, but on a boat, space is very limited. Also looking from up here, look at this. We can see the dinghy, we can see the other dinghy, and you know what else we can see? That removing this and turning this into the jumping point would be super fun. But I still can't get over just how much solar there is here. And obviously, yep, you can walk up the other way as well. So you have 2 ways to get up here. Look at that, he's got some horns here. I really appreciate that. There's been more than a few times when I wish I had had some horns to honk at somebody who was getting in my way. But I guess if you had a motoring electric catamaran, you wouldn't have right of way as often as you would if you're a sailing boat. So very cool to see the boat up here from this perspective. And so here we get a little bit better of a view of the weather instrument. I assume obviously we've got wind and probably wind direction within this, or wind direction would be right there. This is giving us our wind indication. And then right here, it's gonna tell us our how much water we're getting, how much rain is coming in. Kind of interesting to see this. Like I said, I've really wanted to get one of these. So cool the way this thing works out. And I feel like there's a lot of other configurations you could do that would have different pros and different cons. What if you put it up higher? What if you put it on lower? A lot of different things you could do with it. Obviously, I think what they did works and it just speaks for itself. And that's kind of, you know what? I think that's the only way to do this, is look at what actually works, what actually gets out here. So moving on back though, we've got a lot of space to move back here. Normally you'd have, yep, your chain plate right here, and your shrouds would kind of cut you off and you'd have to move around that. But this is an electric boat, you guys. Ain't no shrouds on here. So we're just gonna keep moving on back. Here's a ladder that I was using a second ago to go up higher. They do quite a bit of trolling, so they get quite a bit of fish this way, diving those lures on down. Moving back to here. Now this is where the electric engines are gonna be, and I'm very excited to see that. And then back here are the twin, what you call these sugar scoops. One thing I gotta say on this is look at the height of this. This is perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. Just right above the water. You're literally just a toes dip in, and you're in just crystal clear water. A minute ago there were sea turtles, a minute ago there was a spotted eagle ray. This isn't even the exciting anchorage, you guys. This is with an airport nearby, so you can imagine it gets really, really good soon. And actually, you know what? Check that out. Right next to us here is our buddy Connor, and I actually just did a boat tour on him that you can check out on my channel as well. Also checking out back here, this huge super Bimini structure extends a nice distance back. It's well supported, but then look at this. You've got an electric winch here. It's gonna bring up your dinghy. It's gonna put it nice and like tight up there. It's not in the way, it's not near the ocean, you don't have to worry about it. I really like that they have that electric winch. So I gotta tell you guys, I do all mine very, very manual. I mean, there's like one block between me and what I'm lifting up, and it's a workout. So to not have to do that would be wonderful. Really cool to see. And then back here as well, we've got a little station. You could open this up so you can go straight from here into the dinghy, or so you could load things onto it. I think that's really cool actually. As you lower your dinghy down, say you have dive gear or groceries, you could put them in or out of the dinghy very easily, especially if it was like rough seas. Come up, clip in, bring it up. It's the best system in my opinion. Got a little grill back here. Now I will say, it's not an electric grill. Can you believe that? No. I'm hoping that they do some propane because that usually does better. I'd rather be cooking with that in my opinion. We're gonna do the engines later as I go further into the boat. So for right now, we're just gonna head back along this way. So that sugar scoop has no ladder, but this side does have a ladder. I like to be able to just scoot right up onto it, but some people, you know, they wanna be able to walk up out of the water. So you have a nice big, oh, look at that. That is beautiful. It's large, oh, and it's like perfectly weighted the way they've hinged it onto here. This will be good, just that way anybody can walk in and out of here. As well back here, you've got a little shower. You can do hot or cold water. You could even tie in a hose to this if you need to wash some other stuff off. Yeah, it's pretty great. Again, this is a sailing catamaran. You know, originally, before they turned into electric ones, you still have all the amenities of a normal cruising catamaran. Moving on into the cockpit area here, it's very well enclosed. You've also got these side curtains here. They're gonna block out driving wind. You even block it out from the back, or maybe the sunshine of the evening or in the morning is coming back through here. Either way, it's gonna be nice and closed up. Moving on into here, you do have a little step up here instead of having a straight walk through. A little bit of a disadvantage if you like to just walk, or an advantage if you wanna have that good usable space to store things. Up here at the helm, I'm noticing the incredibly unique looking Ocean Volt dual throttle there for the electric engines. And that just looks exactly like I would think it would for an electric boat, not a diesel powered one. So very cool. Everything else on here looks very similar to me, although these two look very unique. I've never seen Ocean Volt before. Those of you that don't know, Ocean Volt is probably the leader, and we're gonna find out for sure when we talk to the owners here later, but they're one of the leaders in the electric propulsion industry, certainly for cruisers, the few that are doing it. I know I've heard Sailing Uma's channel talk a lot about them, so I'm sure we'll get to learn a lot more about them later. Other than that, up here, we can also just see how much the view is. I mean, 360 in every way. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. When I'm sitting right here, it's all very easy. Even on my own boat, my monohull, I feel like I have some blind spots on it, but I don't feel like I have any blind spots whatsoever on here. And as well, having a dual throttle like this, having 2 different engines, means you can turn, you can pivot, you can just do a complete circle. Catamarans are great for that. I am truly jealous of it. It is interesting seeing what's sort of missing here. There should be, you know, a winch right here. There's probably would have been some cheek blocks here. There probably would have been a the traveler would have been back here. So it's kind of cool. Like, they just left some things because they're like, yeah, we might need it later, or it takes energy to remove it, so who cares? Just leave it on there. You know, if it's chain plate, leave it on there. It's not doing any damage. Also right here, we've got a little bit of isinglass to roll down just when you are in some heavy sea and things are gonna start coming up. But I bet you though, especially say you're going dead into the wind, even with a driving rain, I mean, that's a lot of brim going over to help keep the rain off your face. So pretty nice that way. We do have one other winch left back over there, as well as a cleat going with it. And you know what, you never know when you might need that. So it's nice to have that on there. Also, taking a look at this is pretty unique. This is what they do so that way none of the rain comes directly down into here. Because remember, there's a big space between this top and then the other top. So a really cool way to do it. And if they wanted to, although they have electricity for a water maker, but if they wanted to, probably do some really easy rainwater collection that way, or gutters all around. Could collect a lot that way. So we've got all my favorite people here. We've got Captain Blake Sparrow right here. Did a little tour on his boat of a cement boat. Very cool, check that out. Got my trusty crew member and first mate right now, Dylan. We have Dave, the owner. We have Lisa, the first mate.
Or Admiral.
Or Admiral, depends on the day, depends on the time. Right over here, we've got the VHF nice and handy. We have the E-Perb ready to go. We have the mirror here. Now, is the mirror like for real, or is it?
Situational awareness. I could just turn around and look, but I look at the rear view a whole lot more often.
I like how they do the hammocks right here. We got one hammock here, and where's the other one?
Took it down.
Where? Oh, I see, right there, and then right here. Yeah, and they were just chilling like a couple of villains right here. It was so cool to see that. Another cool thing about catamarans is this huge outdoor living area. It's very comfortable. You're outside, but you're not in the sun, you're not in the rain, and if you want to be, you're not even in the wind. But again, you have the nice shoreline, you have the beach, you have everything here. So it's really, really nice. We've got a lot of storage down here as well. It's probably a good place to keep your masks and snorkels or some cleaning supplies. Yeah, catamarans like this just have a ton of storage, and you really need it. You'll never have enough storage. As we'll look in the inside tour, you can see one of the cabins is just dedicated as a storage or workshop room. They even have a vise, super cool. All right, now out here from the outside cockpit, we're gonna move our way inside. Something I really love as well is you have a sliding glass door. A catamaran feels much more like a house than a boat, which is nice. You want that when you live on this full time. I like this area right here as well, that there'll be so much water you could be wet from sailing or out in the ocean, and you can just dump it all right here if need be, and it's gonna go right outside. But then once you step in here, now we're clean. Now we're doing this all right. So we're gonna start working our way in here. Let's start out with, starting out with the galley area. Now, something that's great about catamarans is your galley up. I mean, the galley is same level of where everybody that you're hosting is. So we've got a 4-burner non-gimbaling stove, because this is a catamaran, folks. It doesn't have to gimbal. That's a very nice thing. A really nice, really big oven here, as well as you can move these to help hold the pot on there. So this is a microwave and a convection oven here. So they hardly even use the conventional oven anymore, which I can understand. Boat ovens, they're cool, but it's so hard to get the right temperature and really work them out. Unless you're doing meat, I feel like. It's like baking has got to be really hard, but I'm no baker. Something I see here that really interests me is this. We've got 2 hose clamps, or is this one? Oh, no, it's 2 yin-yang together.
Repair job.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool repair job. Hose clamps I think are kind of the unsung hero of tool/part, because they're both a tool and a part. They're really cool like that. So that's really nice. You've got a ton of storage up here for, I mean, your knives, you've got some nonstick, your cutting boards, everything else you could want. Also, check this out, windows everywhere. And if you'll notice right here, we've got a little like wrap on here to tint them, because you do want to have some sunlight in here, but you don't want to be getting baked while you're in here. So that's really nice. Moving on, we got a lot of storage here. We've got storage down here. We've got storage everywhere. Storage is so important. I love the little ocean things that you've caught here. This is wonderful. Coffee is an essential, as we all know very well. Got the sink here. Now this is a little bit of a smaller sink, but do you find it works well? Are you happy with it?
We're not going to change it. it's not worth the space, but it's small.
Yeah. And that's how it is. Every boat is a compromise. There's no, if there was a perfect boat, we would know about it. You would see it, but there isn't. There's every other boat is different. But we also have some drying space here. I mean, again, storage up here. And this is nice. Be able to have these hatches that bring the air right back to you. You're here, you're hot, you're cooking. To be in a stuffy boat would be terrible. So to be here, have a little bit of breeze is really nice. And your big flat workspace, I really like this. Now, does this one go all the way? Oh no, this just goes straight down.
And that's our freezer.
But it's a nice one. Oh, and this is freezer, not fridge. Oh yeah. I like the hydraulic on here. That's nice. It's a little tough at first, but yeah, that works out well. So this is the freezer though.
Yep.
This is the freezer. Look at how much you've got there. Now remember, boat freezers and fridge should normally be like this, because that way when you open it, we're losing very little cold air right now. We're still losing a little bit, but very, very little. Versus if it's side opening, you're just gonna lose everything. And then for the main fridge, with a lock on it, because midnight snack sometimes, open that up. Oh, so now this one is the side opening one.
Yep.
So the advantage to side opening is you can see everything, you can pick it. If you do have those midnight snack cravings, it's much easier. The downside is we just cooled our feet off, we just cooled down here. Now, real quick, I'm gonna touch on this. This is supposed to be an escape hatch. I always see these, and what I love about Dave and Lisa is that they indulge me. And Lisa, I hope you're okay with it as well.
I'm perfectly fine.
Okay, because I talked to Dave, and he's gonna let me jump through this later, because I've always wanted to. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know what I was gonna say, did you?
I had no idea. That's funny.
But she agreed to it. So yeah, so you
I just hope it closes again.
You take this off, and you know what else is really cool about this? And I'm curious if you use it for this. So on my boat, which is a 1984 Beneteau Ideally, it has this little in the floorboards. Now obviously mine goes down to just the underside of the bilge area of the boat. But it has this sort of almost like this, but smaller, and it has its own little pan, and you sweep into it. Yeah. Now theoretically, you could do that with this too. You could sweep up a storm and just all of it go whoop, right down there. So we're gonna get a little bit of cleaning done. Don't you worry, Lisa. We're gonna help you. I am here to help her. But anyway, this actually is for in case the catamaran flips. Now, that's much easier to do when you have a mast and rigging and your sails up, especially if you had all your sails in and your mainsail really, really tight and you do some stuff. It's so rare to ever hear about catamarans flipping. It used to be a thing, and that's a big reason why catamarans were not popular up until, 30 years ago? Yeah. But now, when you look at it in Anchorage, I mean, more than half the boats here are catamarans. And the thing is, too, is they're not just catamarans, they're big catamarans. They're bigger than this one, even. So these were essential, these were required, and I've seen them on other sides of the boat, just in case you flip over so you can still get out of here. I guess this would help. I don't know how they tested that. Maybe it's just for psychological, because I feel like I'm still going that way. I can't imagine being like, oh, let me undo the hatch, But I guess it's good to have that option there. So like I said, I'm excited to just drop down through this later like a superhero. That's my interest in this. Something I really like is they just strung up some line in here. Now you do have these handholds, which are nice. You're in a rocky sea, you just want to be cooking. So it's good to have these to hold on to. This is still a boat after all, even though it's a large catamaran, you still can get into rough seas. Got one down there, one down there. Got a few, one right there just to keep you nice and stable. And even right here, and this is also really nice so you can put on some, maybe your dish towels or something. Oh no, here's where your trash would go down. I really like that. I love how this is just right there and you're done, and then it's out of the way. It's really, really nice. But then Lisa added in this little clothesline in here to these handholds. This is nice, just so you can dry stuff. You don't have to bring it back inside if it rains. You can just let it dry in here and you're done. The more self-sufficient a boat is, really the better. Not having to go to land for essentials is so nice because it's such a chore. You have to put it into the dinghy and then offload it and then do this. And I've done laundry before, and on my way back, hit a wave, salt water on my laundry. Guess what? Go back again. Do it all over again. So really cool. And they also have a laundry machine. We'll get to that next. Here we have the inside seating, the inside salon. We apparently have a lot of food storage. Would you like to show us one of them? Woo! Yeah, that is nice. So look at that. And you see that she's got all of the canned goods. Now the canned goods are labeled with what they are as well as their dates on them, because you want to get that wrapper off of there. The wrapper just goes bad after a while. It can be nasty. It can hold cockroach eggs. Yeah, just a few reasons to get it off there. So we're dealing with real sailors here, in my opinion.
I learn.
Yeah, I know they don't have sails, but they're sailors all the same. Moving over here to this would be your nav station. And would this pick up? This does.
Yes, it does.
Cool. So back in the day, even in 2002 when this boat was made, GPS was certainly around, but not everybody had it. You still had your good old-fashioned nautical charts. And they would fit exactly inside of this. This is what all this would be for in there. As time has progressed, and you'll notice there is no navigational charts in there. Why is that? Because we do everything in digitally now. I have done all of my navigation from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, down Florida, around Bahamas, all the Caribbean now, or Eastern Caribbean, I should say, with my cell phone, just a cell phone. So you really don't need that. But this is where some magic happens. So I'm gonna see how much I can guess right on this and how much of our host here will tell me that I got wrong. Normally I can figure out the navigation station because it has all of this equipment here in it pretty quickly. This here is our Victron Energy. Victron does, my MPPT solar charge controllers are Victron, my inverters Victron. They're expensive, they're very expensive, but they're very good, they just don't break. But that's what you use for a lot of your charging and power production, power management, things like that. So right here we can see, oh man, let's see. Charger, loads, inverter. So this would be the photovoltaic charger.
Solar, yeah.
So this means the solar.
That's what's coming in right now.
From the charger, really.
From the solar panels.
Oh, so this is direct from the solar. So I'm noticing right now that we're seeing 39 watts and 265 watts. There's no way that array with all the clouds out is only making that up. Yeah, they're at 100% right now is why it's doing that. So effectively right now it's just free electricity. And it just went up a little bit, maybe something turned on, maybe I want to have a laser light show, whatever, it wouldn't really matter right now.
The load is the green box.
Oh, I see there.
That's the load right now.
Yeah. So we got two different systems split here, and I'm going to talk with them more, but I would assume they would do a port and starboard system. That makes the most sense. Keeps everything spread out, and I'm getting the nod, I'm getting the approval, which is nice to know that my assumptions are correct. That's good, it's good. Over here we're gonna have our 12-volt panel.
I think so.
Okay. Just getting the double check here. Windlass, spare halyard, I assume, stereo. Now, a lot of these, as you can see, he's changed some of them. Horn, very tempting to press that one right now. No. The fridge, Wi-Fi, that's cool. What ends up happening as you have the boat is some of these will be blank and you could add to them, but you know, for instance, on my sailboat, I took radar off. I don't have a radar anymore. I just don't need it. I just never used it. But now that powers, I believe, outdoor lighting for me. Similar setup here. Digital multi-control. You know, we're gonna talk about more of this with David, who is the electrical engineer on the boat. We have the inside VHF, the main man pajama, a nicer system that's not really meant to be outside as much. Nice to have a little TV in here in case you wanna have dinner and a movie, or maybe while you're cooking you wanna watch something, so very nice. All in all, it's a gorgeous space. And then as well, I kind of like this too. Now, it's interesting, I've never been on a catamaran that split the holes so much. And say, for example, you had other people on for a long period of time or whatever, you could easily put a curtain right here and give yourself even more privacy, even though you have doors separate on the bathroom side and then on the cabin side. So I think that pretty much encapsulates the salon, navigation station, and kitchen area. Now we're gonna start diving into the bedrooms. So all the water on board here, they make with their water maker, a reverse osmosis system, which we'll be checking out in a minute. But it's just nice that you can go straight from the faucet. And if I had to guess, because this tastes the same as mine, you're looking at 100 to 200 parts per million. And just so you guys know how pure that is, that's like twice as pure as Dasani bottled water that you guys pay money for per each, you know, little plastic bottle, then create waste. Versus this, you get the system, you power it up, tap water, delicious. So we're gonna check out their bedroom first, one that they stay in when they're here. Coming down here, now I'm 6 foot, so the ceiling's a little bit low. You just gotta duck a little bit, but being used to monohull life, this is not bad. Got the toilet right here, and then you have your nice full door, full bedroom, and then look at that. And I gotta imagine some nights when the breeze just rolls right into there, it's just magical. It's just absolutely magical. Now, headspace on this is a little bit interesting. You're gonna step up one, step up two. This is a downside of the Voyager models. I've been on other ones. Is you have to climb over the person to get in and out at night. Yep. So $1 million question: who gets the side space?
Dave's on the outside.
Dave's
I'm
on the outside.
Inside.
Okay. And I wonder though. So I would imagine the person who gets the outside is whoever gets up the most in the night.
No, not necessarily.
No. Okay.
No, I think we're pretty equal right about now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did he get the outside? What was the breakdown in that?
He likes to brings a bottle of water down to bed.
Okay.
So he can leave it here on the shelf.
Oh.
And I just stick things in that mesh bag over there.
Oh, okay.
My book and my phone and whatever I
Now you do get the best breeze though.
I do.
Okay, so we're seeing that there's pros and cons to everything here. I gotta say though, like this is a full bed. My God, this is comfortable.
It's queen size.
This is so comfortable. Oh, I have not been sleeping great lately on the monohull, to be honest. Ciguatera has not been helping me on that.
Imagine.
Oh man, it's worth it though. It's life. Anyway, not too much to say other than the fact that I could fall asleep right now. This bed is like, it's just so comfortable. I don't like the way you got to get in and out, and it is tight to right here, but not any tighter than my monohull really. And you have a queen bed, not like it's not cutting in on your legs at all. It's like a proper bed. So yeah, I'd say this is pretty great. This is definitely great. So I'm being warned that you have to worry about not like jumping up really, really quick. But again, I've got a larger torso than most, and I haven't hit yet. You know, and this is about where your head would go, and then your feet as well. I'm nowhere near it. This is pure comfort right here. Now, one thing you might have to watch out for is rolling off in the middle of the night. Wow.
That's a long drop.
You know what though? I mean, you're gonna kind of catch a bit of your face on this, so you're not gonna like go full down. Has this happened yet? No. All right. And how long have you guys been on the boat?
We're not rollers.
Not rollers.
We've been living on it since 2019.
Since 2019. So what is that? Like 5 years?
5
Just about
years.
5 years. Nobody's rolled off the bed yet. I'd say that's pretty good. Very cool. And then we've got the fan here as well, just to keep the airflow. When you've got this much solar going on, you really don't have to worry about leaving some fans on. It's not really a concern. Got a ton of space here for, oh, nice. Wow, that is surprisingly deep. Goes all the way down, and that's cool. And then I assume this is some sort of storage as well. Oh, it goes from underneath there.
Yeah. We use shoes.
Oh, shoes in there. Very nice. But it's cool because you got to have your little step ladder, you know, kind of coming up to here.
Those are just basic shelves.
And then we got some basic shelves here. A lot of sarongs, I'm assuming.
Yes.
A lot of you gotta have that when you're in the crib. You gotta have some sarongs. So pretty simple, pretty basic. You don't need to really keep a whole lot in here. This is where you go to sleep and then you live out there. But man, that bed is comfortable. So I might call you guys soon.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a foam topper.
Yeah, I know. I could definitely feel that. You've got a lot of space here for anything that you would want to hold on to it. So that's really, really nice. But yeah, that topper is nice. And then as well, if you do have to get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, right here, toilet, and you're done. Now, this is gonna pop up as well to be your shower, but I'm gonna assume you guys have one dedicated head for your shower. Yep, boat people.
Starboard out.
So yeah, so we're gonna move on to the next one then. Now they just had their parents on board, and they had their parents' room set up. That'd be this one right down here. Now, pretty much from here on out, after we see this one, both sides, are they completely mirrored, even?
Yes.
Okay.
And other side's all storage.
Now, this room feels a little bit bigger to me. What would you say?
Bed, well, you've got the steps that are more steps.
Yeah.
It lacks a hanging lock because we put batteries in here. This was the hanging locker, but the batteries.
Yes, yeah.
And this bed is 2 inches narrower.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's not bigger?
No. The cabin, width-wise, I think the cabin, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It feels like width-wise a cabin, and certainly this height here. One downside to it, though, is say you want to go to bed early, you'd be able to hear everybody right up here talking. And for me personally, I like to go to bed early. I would rather be up there. The other major downside to being back here is you wouldn't get the breeze in like you do up there, and that's really nice. Now, if you were in a stormy anchorage, you'd probably rather be back in here. I don't know how much you can feel too much of it. If there's a ton of wind, you're still gonna feel that wind right here. So you still have all of that, and you can still see the stars as you look out at night. So really, really nice. But yeah, it's just nice they have this much space. They can really pick and choose where they want to spend the night. And if anybody's feeling particularly tossy and turny one night, they can just go grab another bed. They've got other choices. They have other choices. So cool. So it seems to be that they're using the port side of the boat as like the living spaces here. Then we've got would this be the dedicated shower?
Nope.
Oh, this would be, again, for the guests. So you want to keep this good for the guests. Okay. So again, we've got 4 heads. Well, actually, it's built with 4 full heads on the boat, but we're going to see they did a few modifications here. So moving on our way up, this was just the port side of the boat, going on here down to the starboard side of the boat. This would be our dedicated shower room, yes?
Yes.
All right.
It's a dedicated shower.
And we can see because it's got some water here.
Yes.
The chaps go ahead, so you can still use it. It's still a full head. It's just really set up to be the shower. So you've got, and I'm curious, do you guys have an electric water heater?
We do.
Ooh, no propane for
It
that.
is
Very, very
nice.
cool. Just out of curiosity. Oh wow, just storage everywhere. And was this the same on the other side?
Yeah, there's another one.
Wow. You really do have so much storage
We do
everywhere.
have a lot.
The amount of storage, the amount of little nooks and crannies, and they're not like they're all these very interesting, like, you know, purpose built into here. I really, really like that. Moving back into here, you have a little ice maker, and this room, it wouldn't take too long to probably
We could do
set it up back into a bedroom. But this one is also what they're using as their storage. So we've got like the massive, like the real, like save your life EPIRB stuff that you want to come grab, as well as just some other basics, and they're very good. I've seen, it's funny because the other couple I know that has a Voyager, they have all these totes as well. They're very well organized, and it's nice. You want to have your boat as organized as possible. So you got a ton of storage back here. We've got everything else we could possibly need. Some suitcases. I mean, not too much else to say. It's going to be identical to the other one. Something I didn't say quite back over there is that you do have these really nice views. So imagine waking up, you can see the sun's out, you kind of crawl down here, you look out. I mean, look how close the ocean is. Now, does a wave ever come and splash onto this?
We keep the portholes closed on all passages.
Yeah, of course. It would, inevitably, if you were sailing.
We have never had
motoring.
it when we were at anchor.
Really?
Yet.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yet. Yet is the key word there. Because it is.
We've been to some rolling anchors.
It is close. Now, you know what'd be really fun, too, just for shenanigans to do, is take a little fishing rod and just pop it out here. You know? And I'm imagining if you had children on this boat, you know, that, you know, you're grounded, and he's just, I could just see that you look out and there's a little,
okay.
Yeah, little fishing rod is out the side, and you know, I could imagine again even further, you know, that he gets something that won't come back through here. You know, so you just look down and you just hear this floppity flop, and you look and there's this tail sticking out. That'd be too funny. So moving on up, then the other forward cabin now has been changed into the workshop, and this is something that I am, to be blatantly honest, I'm just completely jealous of. So this is going to be like your food storage area, some food storage, and then look at this. They have a full vise right here. Oh, the work you could do with this is just amazing. So this for sure is the workshop. If you had to, you could turn it back into a bedroom, you know, if you could store everything.
We don't take the mattresses. We got rid of the mattresses.
No, well, you could change a mattress topper over here, but you won't, because who needs that? Who needs that? So it's very nice. Here is their water maker. They got the Cruiser RO water system, and I'll be talking about specs with David soon on that. Water makers are actually pretty simple once you understand just the base components, and I like how everything here is laid out. He's got everything labeled so well. The organization here is really, really good. The boost bypass, high pressure, brine overboard. Wow, yeah, all really good, really well laid out. I'm gonna guess this is probably about a 40 gallon per hour system, judging by the two different main membranes there.
Pretty close, 36.
36. And you might look at all of this and be like, wow, there's so many tools and spare parts and stuff and things and majiggers. But when you're out on a boat like this, you have to be self-sufficient. You're in foreign countries that they might probably not even have the part. They maybe have never heard of the part. And to get the part might be just a world of trouble. So you really have to bring it. This is why sailors love other sailors, because if we don't have it, odds are the other boat does. So we all try to work together whenever we can, whenever anything goes wrong like that. But to have a whole workshop like this, I am supremely jealous of. And then back here, speaking of supremely jealous, I have seen this before on, funny enough, a monohull I've seen this on, crammed in a weird spot, but this is a washing machine. And this is big enough to do sheets?
It takes 2 loads to do our queen sheets, but yes, you can.
Oh, really? So you do each one separately?
We do like the top sheet and the 2 pillowcases, and then there's something else in with the bottom sheet, the fitted sheet.
So the only thing you can't do in this would be like a full blanket.
No, I wouldn't. Not if it was a full heavy blanket, maybe a cotton one.
But the thing is, we're in the tropics. You know how often we use full blankets? Never. So you got the sheets, you're good to go. Wash these, and then your normal clothes as well. So here's your washing machine, and this will then spin dry it just to get most of the water out of it. It's all gonna dump that out right there where the normal sump would be. Very, very well designed, very easy. You still even have a sink here if you want it. I mean, this is still a bathroom by all intents and purposes.
You can hand wash in there too.
Oh, really?
I'll hand wash or pre-wash.
Oh, yeah. That makes a ton of sense. So that's so cool to see that. I like that then they've also got the food storage to dry. Would this be like onions and stuff?
Yeah, feel free to cover it.
That's
no,
so
that's
cool.
Probably.
This is an apple.
Those are apples. That's citrus.
Oh, look what they've got. Dehydrated strawberries. Oh, you could make money on these in certain
We
places.
have the whole hammock full of dehydrated food behind you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the mushrooms here, bell peppers, peas, broccoli. Oh, all the goods. Yeah, that's worth some money. I mean, it's one thing to, crave some fish, or you can go get that, but when you want produce, you cannot always get that. So we've gotten the full tour inside. Now you see how livable this boat is, and now let's get into the nuts and potatoes of this boat. Dave, Lisa, thank you guys both so much for letting me tour the boat inside out, go through everything, explaining everything. I absolutely love it. Now let's get into a few questions and just kind of get a better sense of you guys and this boat in general. So you worked as a teacher, you retired as a teacher.
Yep.
And when did you guys meet? Because I assume you guys met well
At
before the
school.
boat.
When we
At
were
school.
teaching in high school.
We were both teaching at the same school.
Same high school.
And I was married. I got divorced. She was married. She got divorced. I found out she got divorced. Our
friend
neighbor
set us
got
up.
us together.
Ah.
And we both had our training marriages, and then this one worked.
And then he had this crazy idea to live on a boat, and I went, I like traveling.
So you've had this dream for a while. When did you
Yeah.
first get the dream of an electric catamaran?
Probably 2003. That's when my brother bought a catamaran, a Fontaine Peugeot, and had it in the charter business in Belize. And I went down and took a couple vacations on it and thought, wow, this is a great platform. I love it. But I'm a powerboater. I'm not a sailor.
Yeah.
But if you just got rid of that mast and the sails, there's plenty of real estate to put up a roof and solar panels,
And that was-
you can make it electric.
And that was when was that?
That was 2003, 2004.
Okay,
I
so not
started
too
thinking
bad.
about this.
Yeah, so technology was starting to come about then. Okay.
Yeah.
So this dream progresses, you retire, and then you start looking for boats to buy.
We actually bought the boat before I retired.
Okay.
We bought the boat in 2014. I retired in 2016 because I figured I could either work 2 more years and give all of my salary to somebody else and have them build it, or I could quit work and build it myself.
Yeah.
So I did.
Now, when you first got the boat, did it have the mast?
Yes.
Yeah, we bought it out of
sailed it home.
Soper's Hole in BVI, and we sailed it from BVI up to Maine, 2,300 miles.
Really? Okay, so there was an adventure before all this, so you sail it up there, and then you're like, you get the axe out and you do an Abraham Lincoln. You're like, let's get this thing down, folks. Let's-
Yep.
And that must have been interesting. So what did you do with the mast? Were you able to sell that?
I was able to sell the mast and the sails and the diesels out of the boat.
Really?
Yeah.
And so that must have offset your costs quite a
Right.
bit. So
And because this boat had been in charter for 12 years when we bought it, the rigging was old, the sails were old, the diesels had 5,000 hours on them, so that made the price very affordable. We
Yeah.
were able to buy the boat for $200,000
Wow.
out of charter.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was 12 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And then we put another 200,000 into the conversion of it, but because it was solar on a resident, Uncle Sam said you get a 30% rebate on solar installation, so we got $50,000 back.
plus the offset
the
of the
tax
mast
credits.
and the generator. So how much do you think you actually spent to do the conversion?
About $340 total.
Oh, total. Oh, okay.
And
So-
buying the boat and doing the conversion total about
Yeah.
$340.
And so that money comes down to how much was the structure? Because the structure, did you
The-
build that or did you have that built?
The roof, the aluminum work was about $35,000. The fiberglass panels were about $30,000. The solar panels, there are 20 solar panels. I don't remember what they were. The whole thing.
Yeah,
Pulled
starts to
together,
add up.
yeah.
Hired a welder to do the roof structure.
Yeah, and
He
they-
worked with the boatyard people to make the
And where's the
fiberglass.
boatyard? Where was the boatyard?
In Yarmouth, Maine.
Yarmouth, Maine.
just north of
Way
Portland.
up there. And they're like, you want to do solar up here?
And it was an old school kind of place.
Yeah.
That my father-in-law did a lot of work on the boat helping us, and he knows how to drive a forklift. And they had a forklift there, and they said, "Oh, if you want to use the forklift, go right ahead. There's a screwdriver in the seat. We use that to turn. We don't have a key for it. Just use a screwdriver to start it." That was the type of place we had.
That's awesome. That's super cool. So you put in. You said you gave yourself 2 years to
Yes.
do it, which that's good. You need to give yourself a reasonable expectation so you can follow that. But you did less than 2 years. You did 50 weeks.
50 weeks
2 weeks
Yep.
less. You're. I like that. I respect that a lot.
on budget and a year under time frame.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So you both get out, and then you guys book it down. You go all the way down through the Cape Cod Canal, Katuitt, Long Island, Hell's Gate, Sandy Hook, Delaware, and the what would that be? The
Chesapeake.
Chesapeake Bay.
Chesapeake.
There we go. And then you get into the ICW, and that
Yep.
must have been nice to get to the ICW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
The
you
Dismal
can
Swamp was beautiful.
Oh, I
too.
loved it there. Yeah. But I hit my mast there, but they didn't hit their mast for some reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
16-1 was, it's
Our antennas were fine. They all survived.
Yeah. and technically, you could, because what you've got up there, that thing, that takes up another like 2 feet at least, 2 or
yeah,
3.
we are at 16 foot 1 inch when we have the VHF and the single sideband
Down.
antennas down.
Oh, okay. Okay, I gotcha. Cool, cool. And then if you were to take that thing down as well, if you were just under those bolts,
it's pretty
the 3
solidly
feet?
bolted.
Oh, it
so,
is.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want to mess. I got
No.
you. Good. All right, cool. So you get down, you go through Florida, and then you just like, hey, we're going out. So is this just an ongoing mission?
Yeah, our plan
goal-
was to be an island hopping in the Caribbean boat. So
Yeah.
the plan was to bring the boat to the Caribbean and island hop. That was the
Yeah.
whole plan from the start.
And we actually met them first in it was the Berry Islands in what's the name of that spot, that marina, that whole-
Great Harbor.
Great
Great
Harbor.
Harbor. Yeah, Great Harbor. It's a pretty good harbor. It's pretty great. And I saw their boat there, and I was just like, but does it leave the dock? I was super snooty about it. I was like, but does it leave the dock? And then I think I saw you guys out anchored next to me like the next year or a few months or
Okay.
whatever, and I was like, I guess I do. I was like, is that the same one though? Like, I didn't even think it was the same one. So today when I saw you guys, I was like, oh, I'm going over. If they're not the same people, I'm going over. If they are, even better. So it all worked out. So you guys have been cruising, and how many nautical miles do you think that the electric engines have put out? You said.
Since we put the electric engines in, last I looked, we were at 6,900 some odd miles.
Does something actually track it? Or you
Yeah.
just, oh,
Yeah,
really?
that
The
cool?
chart plotter actually tracks it.
Oh, no, it's an electric. Oh, well, I
Yeah,
guess.
when I did the conversion to electric, I put the new chart plotter in, so it has only been on board since it's been all electric.
That is cool. That really is proof in the pudding. Now, you guys really did start, a bit early, for sure.
Yeah,
You started
they-
this
they
7
were-
years ago?
Yeah, well, 2015 I started negotiations. 2016 I bought equipment.
The systems, yeah.
And then your splash date, your
It was 2017.
2007. So 17 to 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years you guys are going. That is outstanding.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, you guys are still the only cruising only solar cruising boat I see. And not only that, I love that you guys have been where I've been.
No, that's
you know what I
cool.
mean? That's what's really cool because seeing like a big like barge, solar barge in Miami, it's cool. I'm so interested, but it's not like impressive to me because this screams exploratory to me. Because of that, because of what you can do. Is there any thought of putting wind turbines on this?
I've thought about it, but the wind turbines that I've seen are loud. When you get a gust of wind, you hear them ramp up in speed and then ramp
Yeah.
back down again. And typically they're around 600 watts, and I've got 7,200 in solar.
Yeah, they're not
so-
putting a big dent in.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
need them. We don't need
I feel like it's better on a smaller scale than
And
for a
the
sailboat.
boat was built for the Caribbean, and in the Caribbean, sunlight is pretty dependable.
Yeah, yeah, here it
Even
comes-
on a rainy, foggy day, we still get pretty good input.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you guys are never worried about house loads. Only like, hey, do we make enough to charge everything up? But the amount of solar you have, and I definitely see it. The proportion of solar way outweighs your guys' ability to
Oh, yeah.
store it.
Yes.
So if there is a breakthrough in battery storage, that would be the world to you guys. That would it'd be a
Could be.
game changer.
Yeah,
Absolutely
if we could double our battery capacity, which is fairly easy to do, we've got space enough to do it.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive to do. Doubling it would put us up to maybe 60 miles
Yeah.
of capacity. If we were to go 4 times that, we could bump up to maybe 100 miles without having to run a generator.
And
That
100
means
miles
that's
means
overnight
it's
passages.
everything. Yeah, that means
Yeah.
you no longer need to run the generator.
Maybe someday. We're still cruising at that by the
Right.
time the technology catches up.
Yeah, yeah.
But
no,
when you're
no loud
converting-
motors running. That's the point, though.
Yeah.
When you're converting an existing boat and you have to take over a closet for battery space, those are the trade-offs that you make. On,
Yeah.
on a new construction or a
Dedicate
major
it.
retrofit where you can dedicate battery
Yeah.
space, go for 100 miles.
That's so cool. This might be kind of a silly question, but how long do you think this boat can be like if World War III happens and there's just no civilization, right? How long is this boat just good to go on its own? Like, let's say I guess food is covered. Food and water are covered.
If we don't have to travel long distances, because we can't
Yeah,
overnight,
yeah.
obviously.
Now, if you had to, though, in a pinch, you could just go and then just stop.
We could.
And just
Right.
drift for the night.
We could.
Right.
Especially if you're going downwind.
Right. And we hold 100 gallons of diesel. So 100
Yeah.
gallons of diesel at about a gallon an hour.
Yeah.
That gives us a lot of dark hours for cruising. So
Yeah.
we've got a lot of range and a lot of time. But in an apocalyptic situation, we could do really well for a really long time.
We make our own water.
Yeah. What would go out first? The solar panels, the electric engine, or
Solar
the
panels should be good for 25 years or better.
Really?
The electric motors should be closing in on that, really.
So it'd be the batteries then.
The batteries, they should have 6,000 or 7,000 cycles easily on them. and if you cycle them once a day, 7,000 days is what, 20 years? So they should
Wow.
last a fair amount of time.
This is really this is an apocalypse-proof boat then.
It's heading there.
Yeah.
One of our thoughts was, if we ever are in an area that is hit by a hurricane, we can pull in for hurricane relief and make
Get
36
I
gallons
thought
of
that
water
too.
an
Oh,
hour
yeah.
and
Charge
charge everything for everybody.
Huge electric cords going out the
Yeah.
boat, getting them deep into it. That is really
Yeah.
cool. I love that idea. That would be such a cool thing to do. Call me if you guys are ever doing that. You know, I would love to help with that. That'd be
Dan,
fantastic.
come on in.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about you guys' past history, because I think what you've done is really good, but you've also you've already saved me some legwork in talking to you. But I think it's important to note that you aren't a shipwright.
Correct.
You're a very intelligent person, you're a very accomplished person, but you're not an electrical engineer.
Right. I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm not a naval architect.
But you are a physics teacher. You were a
Yeah.
physics teacher for 17 years.
Yeah.
Apart from that, you had done chemical engineering,
Chemistry and mechanical engineering.
chemistry, and you built electric guitars.
Yeah, and
Teach kids.
teach other teachers how to teach kids to build electric guitars.
That's cool. A teacher that teaches others. So I guess it wasn't so much as a question, it's more of a compliment, and more of just say that you can do it. Like, and I remember you talking to me about it. You were saying that, like, you knew what you wanted to do, you didn't know how you were going to do it, but you're like,
Right.
it's possible.
Right.
And that's such a sailor mindset of like I'm talking about with the way to kite the boat. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure how I'm going to do it, but I
Right.
know it's possible.
It can be done.
It can
it's just
definitely
a
be
matter
done.
of working through the details.
Working through all the problems. So that's outstanding. Funny enough, I wrote this question down literally as zappy scares. But I feel like you kind of answered that, and I want to go back over it again. Another way to put it, a more scientific way, would be to say arky sparky scares. You know, we're going to be scientific about this. It can be very intimidating. We're dealing with large amounts of electricity like you
Yes.
are. And I guess I might just be really reiterating what you said earlier with the whole, you kept the voltage up there to 48 volt. You
Yes.
didn't want to go more than that, because more than that, and I did not know that there was a voltage. I always wondered about that. Why 12 volt doesn't cause me to lock onto something.
Right.
It's because the voltage is so low that it just doesn't do that biologically, and I'm sure there's some sort of
Right.
science behind it that we could figure out about that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So yeah, not so much a question, more just a real interesting. That's fascinating.
48 volts is pretty safe. It's not going to kill you. If you put your hand across 48 volts, you'll know it, but you'll be able to pull your hand back. Life is good.
Yeah.
At some of the voltages that other electric boats run at, like 400 volts, when that much DC hits your body, it locks up your muscles so that you cannot let go.
Yeah.
And when you cannot let go and you've got that voltage on it, that's the end of the game.
Yeah, and what I don't like about that is not that it's going to kill you, it's just going to hurt the whole time you're dying.
And if anybody tries to save you, if
Yeah.
they
They can-
grab hold of you, that could be a second fatality.
Yeah, no, that is super scary.
Gonna hurt.
Am I correct in assuming that also the more voltage there is, the more it can jump, the more it can
Yes.
actually move.
Yep.
So the lower the voltage, it literally is safer on two fronts then with that.
Yep.
So that is very interesting. It's good to know. It's good for me to kind of refresh my knowledge.
One thing that is of note, the lithium iron phosphate batteries are a very safe chemistry. You can
Yeah.
you can drive a crowbar through them without starting a fire.
Yeah.
But if you drop a wrench across the electrodes, they can give off electricity so fast that
Yeah.
they will melt that wrench.
Yeah.
So there
Well,
is
that is really-
still a concern, because they
Yeah.
can give up electricity incredibly fast.
Incredibly quick. I think there's a big misconception with that. I guess we can address that now. That the battery bank you have is lithium iron phosphate.
Yes.
The battery banks on production stuff and things that go really fast, like a DJI or like a drone battery, is lithium ion phosphate.
ION. Yes.
And ion, like the batteries in this GoPro, that I actually broke one a minute ago because it expanded so much. It got so puffy. These ones are quite a bit more volatile. These ones aren't too bad. I think it's more like the Tesla batteries
Right.
that we know of. Those electric car batteries that they're so much more energy dense, but the downside of that is they're volatile.
And
But
they get
these
very
ones are
hot.
safe. Yeah. But these are a very safe battery that you and I
Yes.
both have here. So
Yep.
that's good to talk about. This is a cool question. What do you think the next evolution for electric boats are? And when do you think electric cruising boats, like you guys, like international cruising boats, will become common?
I think the next evolution is people developing the mindset that 5 to 6 knots is a very pleasant way to live life.
Oh, it is.
And-
for Blake, that's a roller coaster on his cement boat. That's unbearably quick.
When we look at all of these go fast boats that have 400 horsepower outboards along the back of them and 600-gallon fuel tanks.
Yeah.
I look at that and I say, how can that be the future of boating?
Yeah.
And I look at this and say, if people are willing to live life at 5 to 6 knots, boy, this is a nice way to do it.
Yeah, because you're really living out here. I mean, you're cruising, but you guys have all the space, so I really appreciate that perspective on it. And it's true. I know a lot of sailors, when they get older, I hear they go to trawlers because they don't mind that 5 to 6 knots. You still get there, but you get there comfortably.
Yes.
And then you stay. And I think that's kind of the question a minute ago. How long could you guys stay out here? You know, you look at those go fast boats.
Yeah.
Gotta go back to the fuel.
Now, I'm curious. Now, does it help you if you were to go at 3 knots? Would you get a more range if you did that?
Yeah, at 3 knots, well, the sun that's shining right now, we probably have enough incoming solar right now to cruise at 3 knots.
Oh,
just
really?
on solar. 3 knots requires about 1 kilowatt
Yeah.
to push a boat. These boats slide through the water so easily.
Because they were meant
at
for sailing, yeah.
2 to 3 knots. 4 knots, it's starting to take 4 to 6 kilowatts. 5 to 6 knots, you're in the maybe 8 kilowatt total range. Above 6 knots, then you start doubling your kilowatts every time you add 1 knot.
Really?
So that 4 to 6 kilowatts, 5 to 6 knot range is really the sweet spot for these boats.
That's cool. What advice would you have for making a budget Bahamas electric catamaran cruiser? I'm asking for a friend, of course.
Budget Bahamas.
But you understand what I'm saying? Is,
Buy a boat,
do
a
you-
used boat or a salvage boat with good structural integrity in the hull still.
Yeah. Do you think it makes more sense to go with a damaged boat and try to build it out from there, or try to build one maybe from scratch?
If
I
you
have no
get
idea.
one that has been demasted,
Yeah.
you can probably buy it at a really affordable price.
I guess the
if you
engines
get
as
if you get
well.
a older charter boat like we did, you can get them at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
But when you're retrofitting a sailboat, getting space for the batteries, making space in the engine room are all compromises.
Yeah.
If you're going on a new build, if you can get a catamaran that is the size that you're looking for and you're willing to rip out stuff and put in new stuff, then you can make your own battery compartment spaces, your own engine room spaces, and it's very
So
doable.
you would recommend more retrofitting than building from scratch?
Yeah,
And cost effectively.
yeah,
Oh, you think it would be more cost effective that way?
yeah.
Because ultimately,
Well,
that's what I'm into. Is like, there is time and money,
Yeah.
ultimately, and for sure, there's much more time with building it yourself. I haven't done it before. I haven't tried to build anything that big before. And I say Bahamas because if you're just going to the Bahamas and back, and my dream boat at the moment would be some I want like sub 3 foot. I want to get into all those anchorages I
Yeah.
couldn't. I
You
want
want really shallow
I want to
craft.
watch my friends from a distance and their boats bouncing in the storm and be like, "How's it going over there?" But that is good to hear that you could retrofit it. And I imagine too. You were talking about engine or space for batteries. If you didn't have the generator though,
Yeah.
that's a lot of space back
Oh, it
there
is.
for,
Yep.
and weight as well.
And the technologies have been proven enough now that if you put one big battery bank in, one generator in, one solar array, one inverter, and 2 electric motors,
Yeah.
you've got a fine system, and that's a lot less cost, a lot less space, less weight.
Yeah.
The technology is now dependable enough that I would probably go without the 100% redundancy
Yeah.
that I went with originally.
That's cool. How much were the Ocean Volt engines, and how many horsepower is their rated output?
They are 15 kilowatt peak, 12 watt continuous, which calculates out to 20 horsepower each. And these were replacing 40 horsepower diesels. So I was really
Yeah.
skeptical about it. But the 40 horsepower diesels had 17-inch 2-blade props in order to match the prop curve with the diesel curve.
Yeah.
Now with the electric motors with full torque at low RPM, we have 16-inch 3-blade props, and the torque curve is so much more efficient. It has almost exactly the same performance out of 20 horsepower of electric that a 40 horsepower diesel provided.
Interesting. So I assume it was like it was like a Volvo D240 in either of these.
Yeah.
It was literally exactly
Yeah,
twice
it was
what I have on my
Yanmar,
boat.
but it was a 40-horse
Wow.
Yanmar.
That's so it's so easy for me to wrap my brain around that though. Basically, two of my engines basically is what goes into it. Have you ever felt like you were undermoted? Like, oh no, we're getting in close towards this. We need more juice.
I made a mistake when we were going through Buzzards Bay after the Cape Cod Canal, and we decided to go through Woods Hole. And we went through Cape Cod Canal with the tide, and I assumed that when we made the turn and went through Woods Hole, we would also be going with the tide, and that was a wrong mistake. We hit Woods Hole at the peak of an incoming tide when we were heading outbound. And we had the motors at maximum force, and we were making 2 knots against the tide going through that cut, but we got through it.
We did.
That was the worst it's been.
So has there ever been like a pucker moment? You know what I mean by pucker moment? Like,
oh yes.
With the boat, does it handle it when you go to dock? Is it all good? Like
The docking is incredible.
on it has that torque all of a sudden.
Yeah, on a diesel, you're bumping into and out of gear at 700 RPM idle. On these, if I want to spin the prop at 50 RPM, I just give a little nudge.
Yeah.
And I've got 50 RPM. And if all of a sudden you want 10 kilowatts, you just shove it and you've got it right then.
No way. So you can go. I was like trying to imagine what you were saying there. I was like 50 RPMs. I was like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
But
it's like 400 watts.
yeah, so you can give it the utmost tiny fraction of
you
it.
can
It's
make
a
it just
complete
barely
silent.
think about moving.
Really, that is
the
so
maneuverability
cool.
is fabulous.
Yeah, that could open up some interesting possibilities.
And if you ever get in a situation where, oh my God, the anchor's dragging, flip the switch on, boom, instant power, no warm up.
yeah, huh?
Yep.
Or if you want to just sort of ease onto it, you're like, we don't want, because sometimes putting it in idle might shoot you up if there's gusts in between. But you could just put it in between that and figure it all out.
Yeah.
It'd be curious one day to have more brains behind all this with the system, and I would imagine that you could almost like hit a button and be like AI sort of take over the boat. And I shouldn't say it. Now everybody's
Is that
scared.
the new auto?
Yeah. Auto intelligence is what I mean. Not artificial, auto intelligence. But I've actually thought it would be really cool if you had the right brain behind it, that you get to a spot that you like and you just jump off the boat. You don't anchor. If you had the battery capacity and the boat could just keep itself
Station keep,
perfectly
yeah.
in place.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be very hard with some,
For bass boats, they have that already these days.
Oh, really?
With an
Really?
electric trolling motor. Yeah.
Oh, and it would spin on its own.
Yeah.
So it would keep you right in place. That's so cool. This is what I mean. This is what I think is so cool about. It's just, electric is the future. There's no doubt about it. Like, the more we do this, the more we keep going. I mean, it's the future in every which way. So I'm really excited. I really hope that there's more advancements in the motors, in the batteries. The motors themselves, how were they for installing? Was it all very simple and all very...
It was almost very easy. And I say almost very easy
Handle that.
because the Yanmar diesels were a sail drive. So they had a diesel engine and then a sail drive going down through the hull. And this is an electric motor with a sail drive going down through the hull. But originally the Ocean Volt sail drive was 3 inches shorter than the Yanmar sail drives, which brought the prop that much closer to the hull, which was going to make vibration. So I had to lower the motor mount by a couple inches in order to install.
Oh, it's just the motor
Ocean
mount,
Volt.
though.
Yeah, but
was
moving
close.
the motor mount on a boat was impressive amount of cutting out of very strong fiberglass and refiberglassing. I used a lot of carbon fiber and
really?
epoxy. Yeah,
You
but it's
wanted
a
that
good,
permanent. You were like, this is going to stay forever.
but it worked like a charm.
Yeah.
And
What's-
I got it long enough that there is good clearance between the prop and the hull, so I don't get any vibration.
What is that distance that needs to be between the top of the prop and the hull?
You need to have at least 1 inch. I went for 3.
1 inch scares me.
Yes.
Because not just the vibration, but what if something comes in between there? It's going to
it's
shoot
wet.
it up into your hole.
We
and
had
probably
enough
break the
room
propeller.
that I was able to get cages put around my props for when we were up in Maine and all of the lobster pots up there.
We don't have
Yeah.
that.
We've taken them off since then because there was some metal corrosion.
That
on
probably
them,
reduces your
but
speed quite a bit.
Not much. They were pretty minimal cages. It was a neat design that just kept the ropes from getting entangled.
So there's nothing really behind it. It was all just kind of like
right. It was
blades.
just like 3 rods that were one on each side and one below, and a
Yeah.
ring around the props. So
That
it's
is so
pretty
cool.
minimal, but still.
This is such a cool boat. I really love this. I love what you guys have here. What are your guys' future plans? What's next for you guys?
it's funny how our plans have changed. When the reality of the speed of the boat and the limitations of the systems became apparent, we'd originally thought we'd circumnavigate the Western Caribbean. At one point, we even thought, oh, we'll go through the canal. We'll go out to the Galapagos. And now we're like, well, first of all, they doubled the cost of going through the canals for a boat this size. We're like, And then we had the reality of going to the Galapagos isn't bad, but coming back would be
600 miles into the wind and waves.
Yeah.
So
in an open shot.
That kite might be the ticket.
You're going into the wind, though.
No, I mean, just keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't come back. You just keep
Polynesia.
going. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of passages.
Yeah.
Long ones.
Yeah.
If I had known when we bought the boat what I know now, I never would have done the sail from St. Tom, from the BVI up to.
Oh,
I would have been terrified.
Yeah.
But not knowing, I wasn't terrified. I didn't know what to expect. It
And we
worked
had
out
a
really
crew of
well.
sailors aboard, so.
Okay.
So, but our current plan is now Eastern Caribbean. We'll
Yeah.
do the whole Eastern Caribbean when we've seen it, because we're getting older. We're like, let's find the spot we like the best. That's where we'll kind of leave the boat each year.
and
Cross
you
our
guys-
fingers that a hurricane doesn't hit and damage
Yeah.
it, and we lose it. And we'll continue to go back and forth and settle on a smaller section of the Eastern Caribbean that we really like. That's our current
Yeah.
plan.
Are you guys prepared to go back to the Bahamas? Because
It might be.
So insurance is an issue, and our insurance company recently dropped all Caribbean coverage. So as of mid-April, we have to have a new
April
plan,
12th.
which we had the survey done. We're waiting on the report. We should have a new
Yeah.
plan in time. Knock on fake wood, because I don't have no wood here. But that's not going to get any cheaper. As storms get more intense and the market gets riskier, so we don't know how long we're going to want to pay for insurance.
when you could just go to Grenada and make sure
Grenada,
you're safe.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, some of them aren't even covering that anymore.
Yeah, so you might go down
Um,
to Trinidad and Tobago.
But we might decide that, maybe we want to take the boat back north. I personally will never east again, so if the boat wants to come back here after that, I'm going to meet it.
Yeah.
But we could take it back and decide that we want to cruise up and down the ICW and across to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Or do a great loop.
Do one of the Great Loops or
Oh,
something
the Great
like
Loop.
Yeah.
We don't
This would
know.
be a great boat.
This
Great
boat can do
loops.
the Great Loop?
Yeah.
that. We think he thinks
I've got to check a couple of the locks to make sure they've got the width.
It'd be a
and the
bummer to
heights.
find out no.
Yeah.
when you're there.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are several variations of the Great Loop, so.
That's a good point. But to get this boat into the Great Lakes would be so cool.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
And right up through New York, no problem. Washington, D.C. Mooring balls were $35 and you were within sight of the Jefferson Memorial.
No, that's cool around. I
And
mean, I like New York City,
you-
but
We're
that's...
there for 12.
Bring the dinghy into the dock, a free bus ride into the Smithsonian's. It was great.
That is so cool. Thank you guys so much for letting me see your boat, and thank you in advance for letting me jump through the bottom hatch there as I wanted to do.
Yep.
Can't wait
Yeah,
to see
it's,
this.
I'm gonna be like a reverse firefighter or something like that. Just diving right down the water. But seriously, Dave, thank you so much. Lisa, thank you so much. I really appreciate you both.
welcome, Dan.
And then, how can people reach out? Because you have actually done a full breakdown of
Yep.
everything on
Yeah,
here.
I share everything about the boat completely. All of the initial design specifications, all of the list of materials, my critique after living on it for 6 years. All of that is available as a data dump free to anybody that wants it. Just send me an email, daveonindigolady@gmail.com.
I would love to see more people chase a dream like this and achieve it.
Me too.
Yeah, no, it really would be cool. And as this all comes on, and who knows, maybe we'll name the budget version of this after you. That's the plan. That's the dream. That's the hope. Anyway, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed this full tour and interview. Got any questions, comments, concerns, all that fun stuff? Shoot them down in the comments below. And other than that, I'll see you guys on the next adventure. Cheers. All right, can I jump down through the hatch? Oh wow, I thought it was like a further drop.
Nope.
There's a big part of me that wants to just like do like this.
It's gonna
But you don't want to hit anything on the way down.
Yeah, and I feel like
That's
I
the
hit
danger part.
anything on my way down. So here goes the escape hatch.
It's the security in your heart.
You know what else? I just realized if you kick, you can move the boat.
You could.
This could be you could definitely move this. Wow, that's so wild.
And for a while, that
There's air coming. Oh, because the ocean is pushing.
Yeah, you got a good breeze coming up through.
Wow, that is so wild. And I just love that if you need to ever, I just cleaned your hatch, by the way.
Yep.
You got a very, very clean hatch here now.
Good.
Anyway, all right. Well, it's been real, people, and I'll see you later. Bye.
I gotta see this.
Hey, where
I
you
have
going?
never watched anyone go down.
Where are you going?
He went through our escape hatch.
Oh, it's underwater.
but also you could sneak back up.
You can.
You're underwater right
You
now?
can either swim underneath the hull, or
I'm
you
in the
can come
water.
this way.
Brother,
Whichever you want.
Give this man an underwater light.
Here, you can even have a towel.
Oh no, I'm gonna go back out.
Oh, you are.
Thank
Okay.
you.
He's just making.
Yeah, I just had to show. I just had to come up and down one more
That's
time.
crazy.
Now I just hope the hatch
You guys ready
closes.
for my Emmy award-winning moment? Save yourself! Save yourself! Ah, he locked you out!
He's coming out of the bag.
Wait, now you gotta get him over here. He's coming.
Is there a fish back there?
There's a big old fish, Rick.
I'm a flopper.
They call it a baby.
That thing is sick. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Keep that thing off board.
You know this
Keep that thing in the water, bud.
Aquaman's got sig on him.
Yeah, that thing's got sink for sure. Look at that. That's a reef monster.
That is so cool.
That's wicked. When? August.
All right.
Start school in August.
Dreams really do come true, folks. You just gotta ask and have some really cool people around. Dave, Lisa, thank you both so much. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. I hope you feel inspired to begin adventures of your own. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. For an exclusive, in-depth look at this adventure lifestyle and to further support my channel, become a member of my Patreon crew. Link in the description. I'll see you on the next adventure.